This is the Volvo V70, a very unsuspecting one at that. It quietly goes about its business of being one of the best cars on the roads. Now, if you can't tell from that intro, I'll save you some time. This review is going to be widely quite positive. So, because there's not very many of them, I'll get the bad bits out now, just before we finish this intro. The turning circle is potentially worse than a TUI cruise ship. It's not enthralling to drive round a twisty road, and it's not enthralling to look at. There you go. If you are put off by those things, then you can go and watch Matt Watson drag race some Lambos, or maybe cat videos are more up your street. Smart people, stay tuned.
Before we get started with the video, big thanks again to Horton Cars in Buckinghamshire. Reliable bunch of people. Any Volvo needs, go visit their website or just take a drive down there. It's hortoncars.com. While you're there, my website is scottoncars.co.uk. Please go read my new blog, get the links to the rest of my social media, and get specialist car buying advice tailored to you. Let's get back to the video.
Now, I said in the intro that this is one of the best cars on the roads. Now let's look at the first reason, and this is applying to this one specifically. Under here, you get a 2.5 litre inline 5 turbocharged, the same engine actually that you get in the Ford Focus ST, just that one's tuned slightly differently. That means that it both sounds and goes really quite well, especially for an unexpected estate that looks like this. Reason 2, and that is the spec. Now, if you know Horton Cars and you know my channel, then you probably would have guessed that this is a Japanese import. That means that the spec is not something that you'd get in the UK. Now, it's quite an odd spec, this one, because you don't have some of the things that you might expect. For example, Bluetooth is only through audio, is only for phone calls. However, this car has something that I've never seen before. You can literally just plug in your USB cable into the USB port, change the mode, the audio mode on the thing for USB, plug your phone in, and you're streaming music. Very odd. I've not seen. I might just be really stupid there, but I didn't know that was a thing. I thought you had to have like a Bluetooth adapter to plug into your USB port. Apparently not. What this car does have though is cruise control, sat nav, heated seats, cooled seats. You've got electric folding headrests, electric folding mirrors, electric power tailgate, front and rear fog lights, as well as an automatic power handbrake. Oh god, I'm trying to think if I've missed anything. Obviously you've got your Bluetooth for calls. I think that is about it. A lot of tech. My favourite feature, as always, is those cooled seats, especially on a day like this. Reason 3 is the looks. To you, it may look boring. To someone else, it may look ugly. To me, and to people with taste as fantastic as mine, it looks perfect. For starters, it is an estate. So you've got that traditional cool look. For me, this particular estate combines that really long length to give it that practicality with enough curviness and enough boxiness just to make it perfect. I think this car is the perfect shape for a large car. Get rid of all the SUVs, stick to a V70. Potentially most important of all, it keeps things very simple. Let's have a little walk around. So you've got these quite humble, I'm not sure what inch these are actually, let me just check. I'd say 18s, there might be 17s though. 17s, yeah, so 17-inch alloy wheels that are on Michelin tyres. And you've not got any black cladding, you've not got any chrome, you've not got any black trim, you've not even got the signature Volvo silver or black wing mirrors. The V70 likes to keep it simple. You get these roof bars which add practicality. They're not there for cool looks, they're there for practicality. As is pretty much everything on this car. You don't look at it and think, oh, V70. You look at it and think, V70. This person knows what they're doing. You do have your blacked out rear windows, as do you for your rear windscreen. And on the back, this car is very Volvo, very traditional. You've got your full-length quarter panel. It's very similar to the XC70 I had the other day. Again, practicality. This bit of black here is not for looks. It's so that you don't scrape your paintwork when you load in your big stuff into the car. You do have no exhaust pipes, even though this is the 2.5T, and that is the only suggestion that this might be something remotely special. The exhausts are actually tucked away. You got one pointing out there, one pointing out there. Volvo could have had 2 fat exhausts coming out, but they didn't want to with this one. This one's not even the highest spec, so why would they? I do think the back of this car looks pretty cool. Reason 4 is the interior. And if you've owned a Volvo or you've watched one of my videos on a Volvo before, you'll probably know where this is going. The interior is simply fantastic. Everything is laid out perfectly. Now, I've not actually been in a P2 Volvo of this era. The XC70 I had was 2016, so it was a bit more modern. And I said that that was thoughtfully laid out. I think this one's even more thoughtfully laid out. You've got far less buttonage going on, and the buttons that you do have are still on this floating center console, which I love, but they're more spaciously put out. They're very thoughtfully laid out so that everything that you need is closer to you, and everything that you're not going to press so much is further away. Not only that, but materials are obviously very high quality. As always with a Volvo, they might not be the most soft touch, but they're made with quality assured. I mean, just look at this. It's not going anywhere. You move down here and felt lined, and I normally say it gets a bit flimsier. This really doesn't. That's still very soft. I mean, it kind of does, but all the leather is very soft. And then you move on to the seats, which uses, again, this perforated leather and has heated and cooling technology, as I mentioned, which not only keeps you in supreme comfort, but the positioning is perfect. Now, as an estate, you normally sit a bit lower down and get a more compromised view of the road over an SUV. In this, you get that, I feel quite high up, and you can move the seat to be even higher. Like, you still feel pretty king of the roadie. Whereas in something like, I don't know, a BMW 3 Series, you're much lower down. You can't see as well. It is more sports focused. This is clearly more comfort, more practical orientated. However, having said that, let's move on to reason 5, which is the way it drives. So what is the V70 like to drive? Well, let's start it off in its probably its best habitat, the cruising state. However, to get to that state, we have to join this short slip road in rush hour. So we're going to have to do a little performance test. And yeah, that 2.5 litre 5-pot delivers more than enough performance to get me to where I need to be. It makes a nice sound as well. The fact that you are able to be in the amount of comfort that I'm in right now with these seats and the suspension that keeps you in supreme comfort, and then when I want to make that sound, it's a really nice option to have, because you can be in that relaxed state, in that cruise state, and then go, whoa. I think this car is perfect if you don't have a second car. If you don't want a second car or can't afford a second car, but you can afford the running costs of something like this, it's perfect, because you've got all that practicality, you've got the ability to go like that, and in a minute I'll show you it's actually not too bad on a twisty road. It can be a bit of fun to drive. However, if you did have a second car, or if you're not really fussed about the sound or the agility, I would just pick a diesel, simply because it is more economical. However, this is the most desirable engine. These snap up quickly because of that contrast and that balance that you get, and it doesn't surprise me. The refinement is incredible. There's really no noise from that large engine, no noise from the tyres really. There's a little bit, and if I turn the aircon down, no wind noise either. It's very, very quiet, this. However, obviously, if you are a true car enthusiast and you want a car that is twisty road able, you're going to want to know how it performs there. So let's exit the A34. Thank God, because it seems to be getting a bit slower. There we go, here we go, opening up. smiling, I'm smiling. I'm in a long Volvo estate that everyone will look at and think, huh, boring, and I'm smiling. Let's get off the A34. Right then, turning onto this twisty road, let's see how the Volvo performs. Now, first thing to say is that when you do speed up, the car does manage to weight up the steering. Now, the performance isn't blow your socks off, but it does kind of pin you into your seat when you get higher up in the rev range. It's a bit gutless from down low, but I'd say from about 4 to 6, it pulls nice and hard. Around this corner then, I'm going to take it at 50, the same speed I'd normally take it in my C30, and it doesn't feel boaty. It's not four-wheel drive, this one. You want to get on your side of the road. It's not four-wheel drive, this one, and surprisingly it doesn't feel boaty. The steering is a little bit vague, however I do like that it does get a bit weightier as you speed up, because you do feel more at one with the car and it gives you a bit more feedback. It's just that center point is a bit of a dead zone. Coming over onto this speed bump, and speed bumps are really no issue in this car anymore. Cruising around town, it really does do an impressive job. Let's just pull it into here quickly, just so I can show you that actually the turning circle is really quite impressive for what it is. I am going to have to stop here and get in everyone's way, but in most other Volvos it would not manage that. This one has a little bit extra on the steering lock that other Volvo estates don't. So like that XC70 I had the other day, same platform as this, bit newer and jacked up, it had a completely different steering lock that meant it got nowhere. Tight maneuvers can be done. This particular model, you gotta have your wits about you, because it's not got any of that bliss. It's not got parking sensors, it's not got reverse camera. So parking, you gotta do it the good old-fashioned way and actually look where you're going, which I prefer. I don't like having beeping all going at me. I don't mind a reverse camera. I quite like a reverse camera, but if you know how to drive, you'll be fine. Let's fast forward though to the next village on, where there's a particularly horrible section of road, and see how it deals with that. Right, I just want to say, because in between these two villages there's a bit more back road. I'm taking corners quicker than I would in my C30. I have a car that is based on the Ford Focus platform, and I'm taking corners quicker in this massive, great, long, big Volvo. And it's not even the four-wheel drive version. This car, okay, it needs more support in the seats, because there's a bit of body roll, as you would expect. It's not got firm suspension, so there's going to be a bit of body roll. However, the actual rate at which the suspension is able to carry you through a corner, and the preciseness of the steering, this car genuinely, it might not offer a fun, agile drive, but short-footed, it is 100%. This car is capable of anything. I'm wildly impressed. Okay, coming into our horrible village. Over this first speed bump, which is actually fine. And what speed bump? That's a question I find myself asking a lot in these posher Volvos. Now here we go. I'm not going to try and go around it. I am just going to go through it. Did you feel that?
I didn't feel that.
I genuinely didn't feel that.
Feel what? I saw it. Camera missed it.
That's insane. Over the train track, and it's a bit worse, I guess. This car's confusing, because it is a bit more jolty and juddery than things like an XC70, but it does go over those particularly rough sections better. Well, anyway, round town, as mentioned, it does the job just fine. Just have your wits about you and you'll be good. Reason 6 is just how practical this thing is. And just how practical this thing is, I can answer that question, is incredibly practical. Let's start off by just saying one of the really neat features that this has. You've got a TV for your TV-obsessed children, of course. Now, popping that away, that's not the only thing that's going to keep them happy. The view of the road is fantastic. These headrests don't really get that much in the way. And then you've got a big window there, big window here. And if they're weird enough to want to see behind, you've got this massive window, that massive window, and that massive window. It couldn't be more viewable, this car. Not that that is a term that you should be using. They'll also be incredibly spacious. Headroom, I am 6'1", long-legged, and I've got all the headroom in the world. This seat is set up for an average size passenger, and my long legs are absolutely fine. In the middle seat, it's all right. Again, that back is a bit firm because you've got the armrest within, but the actual cushiony bit is cushiony. It's also spacious enough. I think you could fit 3 adults back here comfortably. However, I probably wouldn't want to spend too long just because of that armrest in there. Moving to this seat, so if you do have to sit behind a tall-ish driver, you're actually still completely fine. My knees are touching, but it's just actually quite comfy. I can just slide my legs under, rest my knees there. Headroom is still, I mean, it's not going to have changed, is it? However, practicality is not all about the back seats. The boot, I mean, do I even need to show you? I think it's quite obvious. Sorry, we are forcing the cameraman into a bush here. I think it's going to be quite obvious that this thing has a big boot. Starting off, power tailgate. Love a power tailgate. And I could probably sleep in the back of this without even folding the seats down. Absolutely spacious. You've got plenty of tether hook points. You've got a 12-volt socket. You've got a load cover that extends the whole way of the boot. And as I mentioned earlier, bit inconsiderate, isn't it? Why are you driving past me filming? You've got this black section here just to avoid any scrapes, bumps, and dents. However, reason 7 is yet to be found, because this might not even be a reason. You've got to see how many cubby holders this car has to see if that can be the 7th reason that you should buy this car. Right, starting off in the back, you've got I think 19 is it. Can I make that a 7th reason to buy this car? I think you could do better, but it's adequate. So let's say 6.5 reasons to buy this car. That brings me on to my verdict. Right, my verdict then. So it might not be the most enthralling car. There are better alternatives to provide a more fun drive. Sure-footed, this thing definitely is, but body roll just does take away from the fun element. There's definitely more exciting things to look at. If you put those two things aside, this car can do pretty much anything and everything, except be economical, which is actually not true. You can push close to 40, realistically 35 miles per gallon on a long run. So it's not quite as bad as you might expect there. You've got all the space in the world. It handles fine. It goes around town good. And comfortability wise, it is excellent. The interior feels like it's going to last another 1250 years. This thing was built to last. And it does everything you need it to do. I'm sat here now with the aircon on, my cooled seats, cruising along over a speed bump that I don't need to brace for, having a great time. And for day-to-day motoring, that's what it should be about. So my verdict is, don't just buy a V70, buy this one. HortonCars.com, or phone them on 01844 something. I'll put the number up now because I can't remember it. You have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you on the next one.